There we go. Okay. Hey, Elyse, how you doing?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. I got to watch Daughter, and it was like such a slow burn of a movie, but it was such a great slow burn because it just got more intense as the film goes on. And overall, I really enjoyed this film.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that was your experience.
So my first question is, how did you get involved with the project?
I met Vivien Ngo, who plays sister, and she's also one of the producers on the film in 2018 on a show called Queen Sugar, and we played mother and daughter, and we just really enjoyed working with each other. We did a couple of episodes, and she says, "I want to write something, and I want to have you play my mummy again." And I said, "Sure, I'm in. Right, let's go." Anytime anyone says they want to write something for you, of course you say yes. It doesn't happen often. And then she sent me a script. Some time went by, and not very much time, because Corey is an incredibly fast, talented, smart writer. It's impressive. And not that much time goes by, and she sent me the script. She said, "We have a script. Can you take a look at it?" And I read it. I was like, dang. And I remember being so scared because it was all on the page, that gripping feeling you said, like slow breath. And you're like, ugh. But I was scared from the very first scene with the truck. You know what I'm talking about? You've seen like truck,
Yeah.
and then the previous. And this is me going, and then I texted Vivien and I said, "This might be too scary for me to watch, but I'm in though, right?" I'm still in. It's great. And then, yeah, the rest of it was the same. And then, of course, I got all the way to the end. I was like, oh, so good. And then I really didn't have to do anything except, confirm the fact that I'm in and say yes, and then show up for work. I was very lucky.
Yeah, and speaking of Vivian, you also got to work with the great Casper Van Dien. I think this was one of his most haunting roles yet.
Right?
I've seen him play like so many villains and so many heroes, but this is perhaps one of his most sinister roles. And he did such a great job as the father. And Ian Alexander was, I don't know, he smiled throughout that, like his whole performance. He smiled his way through and I felt like at times for that genre, it should be a little creepy, but for some reason it's not. Like it's like he has the best intentions, even though he's not sure what he's involved in directly. But what was it like working with Casper and Ian on the film?
It was all good. It was, I mean, we all got along, which was important because we had that one location. We're all just, spent a lot of time together. Casper is so nice. He is a total pro. He comes in, he works so hard. He looks out for, everybody else. His character literally puts mother in chains. I think you saw, like, I have chains,
Yeah.
And he put it on, and he was always so respectful and wanted to make sure that I was comfortable. Like, is that okay? It's not too tight. Is it like, does it hurt? Is it okay? Like, can I touch, this? And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And I felt so safe with him. And that is so important in this type of movie, right? Where father possibly is doing untold, terrifying things to mother off camera, for me to feel safe with the person who plays father. And I absolutely had that. I just adored him. He was such a gentleman, such a hard worker, such a pro, showed up on time every day. And yeah, I mean, and then you saw the performance. He loved the script. He wanted to honor the script. And he would say, like, oh, I love this script. I responded to it. This is one of the best parts, that I've ever read. And he just wanted to jump in with both feet and do that. It was something different for him, and he recognized that.
Oh yeah, like he makes any role work. I actually got to talk to him a few years back for another film he did where he played a bad guy, and he just when you talk to him, he does not come across as the character you think he's gonna be. Like,
no,
he's like the nicest person you can meet. He's like one of the nicest people you can meet. Like, he's down to earth. He gets along with it. He's doing this. And he's such a fantastic actor. I mean, but to see him in something as sinister as this, it's just like, holy cow, this is just amazing. And the way he pulls it off, and the fact that I felt like his character was so warped that he believes in the nuclear family, that he feels like it has to go one way or another. His character is so conventional. That's what I felt like, as compared to the rest of you guys.
And I love his sense of humor. That's not obvious, right? But off camera, his sense of humor is really funny, because Ian had, when Casper showed up, and before he went into hair and makeup, but Ian came out of hair and makeup, and he has a little middle part, and his hair is kind of like this.
Yeah.
And And Casper says, I want that haircut. I mean, I want that hairstyle, not cut, but he goes, I want my hair like that, you know, like the middle part, like very odd. And he goes, I want that. Because, you know, he wanted to make it seem like brother has that haircut, hairstyle because of father. He emulated it, you know. So he goes, I want that. So I loved it. And his pants would be pulled up, you know, like here, and just all in. And he was very, yeah, I mean, we actually laughed a lot on that set, even though, you know, we had a lot of obstacles and working in micro budget. And if you've talked to Corey and Vivien at all, you know that the physical difficulties we had, like the wildfires and wasp attacks and power outages and strange things, but we laughed a lot. And that was possible because we just had the best cast and crew, man, everybody behind the scenes, you know, everybody on down. We just came to work because we believed in the script. We wanted to see this movie made and made well. And there were no airs and no egos anywhere. And
That's
to go back,
awesome.
yeah, to go back to your previous question, I meant to answer that too. What was like working with Ian? He was so good. I mean, Ian, the person and brother, that is a transformation. You know, this is a performance. This is a character. And in order to play that kind of innocence is really difficult because we have everything. We can literally go on our phones and see what's going on in you know, halfway across the world. But for him to not even know what Kansas is, what is Kansas, right? And
Yeah.
to sell that kind of innocence, he makes it look easier. He makes it than it is to do, you know, because you have to believe that he really doesn't know what Kansas is. And I think that he's very believable when he's doing that. And then how I felt working with him is that I became also protective, kind of maternal, you know, in the mother. So
Exactly.
yeah,
That's how I felt. I felt like
toward Ian.
the father is protecting the whole family, but in his own conventional way, where you're protecting mainly the children. You're more concerned about the children rather than the father. So I kind of
Right.
knew those, even though he had you in chains, you know, there was a little distinction, but I felt like the mother, your character was more into taking care of the children. Like you
For
wanted what's
real.
best for them.
Yeah, I mean, you saw at the end, and she's always trying to, you know, like I think she's also, because she's a survivor, she's been there a while. She knows what triggers father, right? So she's going to be the person who's always going to try to keep the peace.
Right. And then that
Yes.
ending is not to spoil what happens, but that's where the full transformation of the entire family shows up. Not the father, but the rest of you guys. That's when everything comes, and it comes with that weird 80s style music video that just comes out of nowhere. I was
You're like,
like, where is this coming from? And all of a sudden it's like it's a live performance that sister and brother do. I thought that was cool though. I felt like that was, I mean, I don't know how it visually came up, but that's just amazing.
I loved it so much, and they had so much fun doing that. And I think there was a video somewhere that Vivien posted a while back, and she goes, out of context, this is something from daughter. And of course it makes no sense, right? If you just saw a snippet of them doing that, she goes, out of context excerpt from there. And I was like, that is hilarious, because it is in the movie and it doesn't make sense unless you see it. And then you're like, oh, okay, we get it.
Right, exactly. And that was the start of the third act, and that's when everything just goes insane at the end. And the way everything just plays out, I felt like it's slow burn, but then boom, it hits you right at that end. And I absolutely love those kind of movies where the tension builds up until that third act hits you, and you knew exactly what's going on.
Yay. Well, that's exactly the kind of experience, how we want you to feel while watching it. So thank you for saying that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So finally, what's next for you after Daughter that you can talk about?
Oh, there are several projects I can't talk about yet, but I have two films that are going to be at South by Southwest. They're two short films, Family Circus and Spring World Dream. One is a stop motion animation, Spring World Dream, that I voiced the lead in. And Family Circus, we just got back from Sundance, where it did. The reception there was just wonderful. It stars, I'm in it. I'm also the mother of a different kind of family, but also Michael Ironside is in it. And I didn't even realize this until my sister pointed out to me. She goes, are you just making your way through like Starship Trooper actors?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, wait, what? No, I hadn't even realized that. But yeah,
Yeah. Michael's a phenomenal actor. I mean, I've been following him since like the early 80s with Scanners and The Next Karate Kid and all these other, all these other films he did. And he's just a fantastic actor.
Yes, and he's in there. I mean, I think South by will allow for virtual, viewing of some things. So if you want to check it out when South by hits in March, Family Circus, you get to see me going toe to toe with Michael.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that.
That was fun.
But in the meantime, Daughter will be out this Friday in select theaters, on demand and digital. And those who love a good slow burner psychological thriller, they're going to want to definitely see this one, because this was an amazing ensemble cast. Probably one of the best ones I've seen this year so far, even though we're only in February. And Elyse, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it.
Thank you. It was really fun.
All right, Elyse, take care. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.